All right. Peace to the planet Earth. You know what it is. Adisa the Bishop chilling. I'm excited today. You know what I'm saying? Because like some people, like, you know, like there's people who know hip hop and there's people who really know hip hop. I have DJ Platurn on.
No pressure. No pressure.
For so many reasons, man. Thank you for being on Bishop Chronicles, bro. How are you doing today?
I'm great, my friend. It's good to see your face. Much love to you, and I appreciate you having me a part of your legacy.
Bro, come on. You have a legacy of your own. This guy's like a 3-time Jedi in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And dude, let's first I want us to talk about the Redman thing first.
Oh, sure.
You're known for many things. This is the latest thing. Tell the planet about what you've done with Redman.
So my most well-known style of mixtapes are the storytelling ones that kind of encompass, you know, either an era for an artist or like a certain particular sound for an artist, and puts it all together with the samples and, you know, traditional aspects of DJing, but a big part of the storytelling aspect is layered around the actual samples that they used. Mm-hmm. And so I did that with what I'm known for probably the best are the Tribe and the De La mixes from back in the day. And so I gave Redman the treatment for that. And I'll keep that story kind of brief because it's actually out there. There's an interesting story that was released by or Hip Hop DX did an article on the actual release of the mix, and it tells the story of how it came to be. Because honestly, I don't know if, like, as much of a Redman fan as I am, and I'm a big Redman fan for sure, you know, any of us that came from the era that we, you know, came from that specific kind of energy of the, you know, when EPMD and K Solo and
headbangers, you know what I'm saying?
Headbangers, and when Redman came out and was part of that whole thing, man, we like
that energy was wild.
Exactly, and like we all paid attention so just vehemently, you know what I mean? Like we were like, dude, who is this guy, man? Like, for real, you know, like he had legitimate fans out the gate. Like he had so many cats that were like, I just remember that, man. There were so many heads that were just so devoted to who he was, you know, and to this day, like he's one of those hip hop artists that's still around that has that kind of fandom surrounding him, you know, like cats are just really serious about him and what he's about and his discography and the whole nine. But the short end of it is that this the way that it came to be, and I mean, there's a lot of artists I could have chosen. Redman probably not super high on the list because I just, you know, there, like for me, when I decide to do something like this, the samples have to accentuate the artist's music just as much. You know what I mean? Like they have to kind of come together in a way where you can let some of the music play. You know, it can't just be,
you can let it ride and just like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Like it's gotta basically, like, it's gotta fit, you know, in between the actual hip hop music itself, and not every sample bed or like sample history, you know, related to artists works that way. And so anyway, with all that being said, it was a little bit of a challenge, but I loved it because I dove into it pretty deep. But the way that it happened, the story behind how it happened is honestly probably, you know, damn near as intriguing, if not almost more intriguing as the mix itself. Because and I'm going to keep it real brief. You can look up the article on Hip Hop DX if you really want to know.
DJ Platurn.
Yeah, exactly. But basically what happened is this dude, this guy Andrew, who I was connected with on Facebook, never met the guy in my life. somehow connected. I'm not entirely sure what the, who the mutual people were or whatever, but basically right around the time, pretty much exactly, maybe like less than a week after lockdown initially began back in March, he sent me an email and he asked if I would be willing to do this mix for him. He's also a DJ, not super public, but he's a big fan. He's from Jersey originally. Redman is his favorite MC. He's a big fan of my, style of mixes, and so he asked me to make one for Redman, and then proceeded to tell me that he is a nurse on the front lines of the COVID epidemic, and really wanted to have something like this for himself, in so many words, in case something ever happened to him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was in the trenches.
You're doing it.
And there was some more back and forth and some more info exchange in the whole nine. But man, I was like, yo, dude, like, how can I not do that? You know what I mean? Like, I really need to get down with this, not only because that notion is so sincere,
Yep.
but at the same time, man, fuck, dude, if that doesn't make a good story, like, I don't know what, you know what I mean? So I really, like, I took it to heart, man. I really, really took it to heart. I took it seriously. I thought I was kind of I wouldn't say I was in a rush per se, but like, I wanted to get it to him, because who knows, you know what I'm saying? Like, something could have happened to dude, like, while I'm making the fucking thing. So I'm sorry. Are we avoiding the curses, bro? Like, just.
That ain't right, homie, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'll try to bite my tongue, but
No, just do you, player?
man, when I get passionate talking about stuff, dude, I
know, and I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me casa su casa, player. We chill.
I got you. But anyway, so I got into it, and I think it took me roughly 3 months, and I'm pretty proud of it, man. And more than anything, honestly, dude, like, when I finally handed it over to him, he sent me a message. I think he was on his way to work. He does like the crazy nurse shifts where he works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he'll work like
Hey, man.
whatever it is.
Every nurse, man, in America, man.
It's amazing. I mean, real talk, like,
They're the real MVPs.
they really are, dude. There's I don't think there's a more noble thing to be doing right now in the midst of all this than the people that are actually working in medicine on the front lines. Like, it's really something else, man. It's really something else, dude. So that's the short and long end of the Redman situation, and it came out really good, and the reception's been fantastic, man. Like, everybody, like, all the
Good, man.
Oh, thank you, bro.
So good, man. Like,
Thank you.
I was straight rocking to that joint.
Nice,
And
nice.
it's crazy, like, like, it's funny, like, sometimes people do mixes and they're just like beautiful mixes.
Yeah.
Like, through and through. But there's this extra thing that some DJs have, and you have it, that, like, it feels like a house party, man.
That's what's up. I like that.
What I mean? Like that is an extra thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every DJ doesn't have that. Every DJ does not have that. I know my DJ is fairly good. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know you do.
Bro, like, I felt like you were in the room with me, dog.
Yeah, that's what's
Like,
up. I like that.
It was great. And that's just such a thing of what you bring to your mixes, and what he brings to, like, the energy that he hits the tracks with is just
Yeah. And he's such a fantastic storyteller, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those MCs that paints this crazy picture that, like, the best MCs, my favorite MCs of all time, and they don't even necessarily have to be storytellers, but, like, somehow they just put something in your mind where you start conjuring up, visuals in your mind, with the words that they speak and the way that they speak them. And Redman is one of those dudes, man. Like, that dude just, like, he's just like a movie. He's like watching a movie,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
It's
It
unbelievable.
really is, man. It really is. And my whole shit forever has always been like my 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 MO with making mixes is the same as reading a book or sitting down and watching a movie, you know? Like I want that kind of effect to resonate with the listener. I want you to feel like you're kind of being sucked into this world.
Yeah, it's a psychology, man. It's like a state of mind. It's an environment.
Yeah, an environment exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's very much an environmental kind of thing, you know. And I don't know, man. It's just a style. Like I didn't come up with it. You know what I mean? I like. There's so many DJs that I grew up listening to that I just wish that I could be, and were huge, you know, huge influences on me, and that's what I take, you know. But I put my own spin on it. So
Of course.
yeah.
Let me ask you, man, like, how did the Bay Area get blessed with your presence? Like, how did you come into hip hop, and like, what was your path?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, my hip hop roots here in the Bay, um, really didn't get solidified till I probably turned 18, and that was after I moved back up from Southern Cali because I lived here as a kid. I moved here originally from Iceland when I was 7,
Okay.
and you know I started listening to. I mean, I was listening to Run DMC, and I remember I always tell this story about how I used to go on these road trips, and Pops always humored me, and he would buy me these Best of Def Jam tapes. Like they have this whole compilation. There's like 10 volumes or something. You remember those, right? With like they had like the figurine that was supposed to look like an award statue, but it was yeah. But it was basically emulated after you know Run and whatnot from you know UC and whatnot. So he had the Adidas and the hat and the whole nine. But that was always the cover. But anyway, I used to listen to those things, and I remember I started listening to those things like very soon after I moved over here from Iceland because I didn't know anything about rap music at all. Like I lived in a little fishing village before I moved over here, bro. Like
Right.
no lie, you know, we didn't even have TV or nothing, dude. Like it wasn't even like we came from very humble
That's
beginnings.
hella deep, dude.
Yeah. And so when we came over here, the first shit that I got really obsessed with was Run DMC, was Jam Master Jay essentially. So that's 8 years old right there. And that was in the Bay, but you know, I'm so young. And then we moved down to Southern Cali and I go to junior high and high school in Southern California. And then I come back up here right around the time I turn 18 to graduate high school. Essentially.
California, you talking about LA? You talking about like San Diego? Like where are you exactly?
I was in what's called the what do they call it? They call it the is it the San Bernardino Valley? I think what it is, maybe. So I lived in a town called Claremont.
Okay.
Claremont was a small college town right next to Pomona.
Okay.
And I went to Claremont High School, and Claremont High School was hella interesting because Claremont High School would bus a bunch of kids in from Pomona, and so Claremont primarily was fucking Blanco as hell, dude. Like really, really, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
like painfully Caucasian, you know. And so going to that high school, like I just got into dancing and basketball and hip hop through all of my friends that didn't even live in Claremont really. Like I only really had a couple of homies because they were all so square to me, and I wasn't used to that because even being young, coming from the Bay, like my initial exposure to American culture when I came to the U.S. as a child was a very, very vast one. You know, like I just whatever. Like you think about the Bay in the '80s or whatever. You know, I was just exposed to everything, and then I moved down to Claremont, and it's just super white, and I'm so disinterested in all of it, and so it just that era from like '88 to '94 really. And what I was into music wise really shaped a big part. And I even remember, like, actually, this is funny. I don't know if I've ever actually said this publicly, but I remember like being down in LA the only cats that I ever really like fucked with in the Bay Area were Hyro. Like those were the only guys because I was so into East Coast hip hop, and all the hip hop that I loved was from the West Coast was shit that sounded like it was East Coast. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like Ice Cube was our Rakim, during
Right.
the time. You know what I'm saying? Like he was everything. He was absolutely everything. So like during that '88 to '94 era, like that was all of it. And so Hyro was
Yes, time for hip hop.
yeah, man, just unbelievable, man. And Cube was just like our godfather, man. So we just paid attention to everything surrounding him.
He was so hard, so political, but then yet religious, but then G'd up. It was this unbelievable mix of so many aspects of America at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the perfect combination for a dope MC during that era, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but anyway, so I didn't fuck with Too Short. I didn't know dick about fucking San Francisco hip hop at all. Like a little bit of E40, but that sounded way too West Coast and blah blah blah. So like I didn't really know. Like I didn't really actually get into what the Bay Area was about hip hop wise until I moved back up here, and that wasn't until I turned 18. And then Telegraph and the tape culture
and Durant and Leopold's. So can you paint a picture for someone like who, you know what I'm saying? Like we trying to like really get the West Coast stories told. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone can really understand like, Telegraph and Durant and like Leopold's era, like how would you describe that? What are we talking like 90, 91, 92?
This was basically like the height of that movement of the tape culture up on the Ave was 92 to probably like 96, 97. Like the most revered stuff that was happening as far as shows, as far as releases, as far as just like general culture that was happening in East Bay hip hop.
Yep.
Was really like that kind of like 4 to 6 year period.
That was a crazy time for the Bay. And this is in the city of Berkeley, y'all. If you ain't from the
Yeah, exactly. This is primarily in Berkeley, a little bit in Oakland, but Oakland was a trip back then, man, because Oakland was just like a ghost town downtown.
Yep.
And around the lake, like there was just not like almost everything that was going on was in Berkeley at the time.
Yeah.
It was because of the Ave, is because everybody was kicking it up on Telegraph. And
the only thing except like the Omni, remember?
Yeah, I remember the Omni. Absolutely.
That's I feel like that's primarily it though. And Mr. Floppies.
And do you remember there was a spot that was really interesting for a good chunk of time called Your Mama's Cafe? Not Mama's Cafe, but Your Mama's Cafe.
What was that?
It was where Broadway and not Telegraph. It was where Broadway and I can't remember where the intersection. It was right on a corner there.
Yeah.
It was a really legendary spot, and that's where a lot of congregation was happening at the time.
Yes.
It was just a cafe that you could get coffee and tea, but you could also get food. But they would have sessions constantly, and everybody would go there. Everybody would go there. And so, like, the whole Unsigned and Hella Broke and, like, Mystic Journeyman and that whole
Journeyman, bro.
Yeah. Like them and Hyro and these conglomerates.
Journeyman and Hyro carried the culture so hard. Bro.
Absolutely, man. All the shows,
so hard.
Yeah. And then Calex, like DJ culture on Calex was really, really huge during that time. And of course down in Stanford, KZSU and everything too, but we listened primarily to Calex because a lot of us were on Calex. We had shows for years and all the late night stuff. And like that was, and I mean, to answer your question, Adisa, the whole thing about that particular time is like cats would swap tapes more than they would sell them. That was the thing. And that was like a very big for the culture kind of situation, man. And, we would throw these shows and the shows would, it'd be like, maybe $5 to get in, and there'd be like 15 dudes on the bill, you know, and only maybe like, you know, 100 people graciously, maybe like a little bit more. I mean, obviously it grew like when everything started happening with Maritime Hall and like that independent culture started getting bigger and bigger and like hundreds and hundreds of people. But I'm talking about the Telegraph days where we like, you know, we'd throw events at homes, at people's houses, you know.
Yep.
And so cats would
House
show.
party was a real thing, man. I think that was kind of like the last era, huh? Like, I'm not sure house parties like after like the '90s. It seemed like.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, as far as like any real like history when it comes to hip hop and how just grimy and like really truly underground, like that you know, that term just gets thrown around so loosely, right? But that shit was really really underground. And what's so bugged out, man, now is like, you know, some of that music and the tapes and the releases and all that stuff, and even like there was stuff that came out on wax independently during that time, some of that shit goes for crazy amounts of money because it's so
Yeah.
collectible and so revered as far as hip hop history goes in Bay Area, you know.
It's you know, and it's weird because I think that there are certain people that believe that like golden eras don't exist and stuff like that. I disagree.
Oh yeah, of
You know
course.
what I'm saying? Like, I
Mhm.
disagree. Like, I love, you know, I can't lie. Do I love today's rappers as much as I love my era? Like, of course not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? But I don't hate it. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. It's just I mean there's always going to be a certain amount of reverence that you have for that like real innocent time. Like I always equate it with cuz there's a level of innocence, man, that just went along with that shit cuz you were in it for no other reason.
Just to be dude, it was
You,
such a
you
crazy
just wanted to be a part. You just wanted to be a part of it and get your props. That's it. Like that was it. That's all you.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It was so crazy, man.
I mean, homie, we like I was, you know, I was this maybe a little bit after and whatnot, but I know, you know, you and E and Davey and all these guys, you know, all these legends that I look up to, man. Like you guys were, like I studied your guys' words. Like while I was just like a, you know, whatever young Padawan, dude. Like I was, you know, trying to like,
That's unbelievable. That's just
dude. But it's, you know, real talk, man. Like you know, we were nobodies, dude. Like there's so much more history to all of this. But when we were first getting started, trying to be anything in hip hop in the Bay Area, and like I'm literally brand new to the scene, like meeting everybody for the first time, 18, and a lot of cats have just been doing this for a long time. They all know each other and the whole nine,
right.
and like I said, man, all you really want to do is just like you just want to get your props. And so, you know, you study everything, dude. Like we studied everything, man.
Science, man. It
Yeah.
was such a science, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because it's easy to be like from my generation of hip hop, be like, man, y'all don't understand, you know, da, da, da. But like outside of my absolute preference, there's this whole thing of like how diverse hip hop was.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? How diverse hip hop was, and how like if you really paid attention, like, you know, like I used to really believe that like if you listen to hip hop production sound, it was like wine. Like you know, if you really studied, you could hear Northern California beats. You know
Right.
what I mean? From
Right.
Southern California beats, from East Coast beats. It had like flavor, like it had a discernible
Yeah.
something else, man. Like I love that about hip hop.
Yeah. Like sommelier style. You know what I mean? Like yeah, this the breakdown was so distinct. That's really real, man.
You know, like I love that. I mean, I still love it about hip hop today. Like even with today's production, like which is obviously different than what we grew up on. But sometimes I really think that the patterns are dope. You know, and I love to watch and pay attention to how sounds change. But that's what I do kind of miss about the lack of regionality. You know what I mean?
Right.
People from the South, like people from the East, they sound Southern, like hella Southern.
Yeah.
And like back in our time, I remember people saying that like they didn't like Boys in the Hood because Eazy-E sounded country.
Right.
Mind blowing to me coming from the Bay. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, he sounds country, but like to someone back East, it makes complete sense.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, bro, is like, you know, when sampling was pretty much 100%, you know, or I'd say maybe 90% of the music bed to rap music. The thing about that was that you were ultimately gonna sample and create music based on the wax that you scooped up in your particular area. Right? But like there's a lot of famous joints, classic hip hop from specific regions, you know, Bay, LA, Chicago, South, Miami, New York, obviously, you know, all of this, that their sound was very much surrounding and kind of encapsulated, you know, the records that were readily accessible. Yeah. And also, you know, with like the parents, because you know, a lot of beat makers, man, they scooped up their records from their folks, man, from their pops usually. Like that's a very common theme among producers throughout the last, you know, 30 years of DJing and producing, you know, using wax and whatnot. And so a lot of that, man, like, you know, you get your hands on that stuff based on the region, and you create music that sounds like that music, you know, in a lot of ways. Like for us here in the Bay, you know, there's a reason why a lot of you know, like when you listen to Keek or E40 or whatever, you know, like you could put that dude in the South and it wouldn't sound that crazy that you know, that he would rep the South, right? And if you like, I live in Vallejo these days, you know, and this is 40 and Mac Dre territory up here. And E40 sounds like Vallejo. Like he really sounds like Vallejo. And I've been here for, you know, almost, let's see, 2.5 years now. We moved up from Oakland. But he really, like, you know, and when you think about it, you know, Vallejo is Confunction and you know, Johnny Otis and you know, these sounds that kind of, you know, so anyway, when you tie all of that in, it just starts to make a little bit of more sense in terms of how, but now, like you said, there isn't necessarily that, like somebody like Kendrick is like the go-to for old heads. He's like the go-to where you're like, yeah, I'll fuck with Kendrick, you know, he's like the dude, you know what I mean? But Kendrick sounds like LA to me. Like he sounds like Los Angeles to me, you know? And there's a lot of rappers and a lot of MCs, and a lot of it has to do with technology and blah, blah, blah. You know, they just don't necessarily like soak up, you know, a certain kind of like energy and history of where they're from or, you know, what they grew up with or whatever. I don't know. I think a lot of it really just has to do with the records that you grow up around, man, and the music that you grow up around. So that's my 2 cents on that, really. But I don't know. I don't know if there's like 100% truth to that, but I just feel like maybe it just feels that way because I'm such a DJ and such a record nerd still, you know.
It makes sense.
Say it again.
I mean, it does. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but I think 40 just sounds like Vallejo. Like when I drive through Vallejo, when I go and get some food, or when I go record shopping at the local Goodwill or whatever, man, like you know, like Vallejo, just that's 40 right there, man. Even though he doesn't even live here, he lives in Black Hawk now. You know where Black Hawk is? You know where Black Hawk is. if anybody wants to know, just look up Black Hawk and that's
Black Hawk, man.
Yeah. That's anyway. Yeah.
No, Black Hawk is dope. I know 40 has a small outhouse that's bigger than, help me out. 40.
Yeah, no, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
He still has a lot of business out here though. He still has some restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah. No. He's it's interesting. One of the things that I've always loved about the Bay is how inviting we've always been to all the other regions.
Yes.
Of hip hop, right? Like, you were talking about, how 40 sounds like Vallejo. So, one of the things that I always trip off is like migrations of people, right? And so, like, I remember years ago, I did an interview on Spice One, and at the time he lived in Hayward,
Yeah.
So I went to a spot in Hayward, and his mother told me that when she was a little girl, she was in Texas, and that when she was in elementary school, she went to elementary school with Scarface's mom.
Oh, word. Wow.
That is bonkers.
That is crazy. That's an interesting tidbit of hip hop history right there.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Wow.
Like that's how connected the South and the Bay are, right? And you trip because like 40 went to Grambling or some, I hope I didn't mess that up. He went to some, black college in the South.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then like came back and, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird how, in those days, I guess they didn't really like, a lot of Southern dudes really didn't like California dudes that much or whatever. But like, it's also interesting how much they absolutely influenced each other in the sound in so many ways, right? Like, how many people came up here from Mississippi? How many people came up here from Louisiana, from Texas? You know what I mean? It's
exactly. Like, dude, the connection between, like, one of the more interesting connections that I've kind of learned more about and really try to soak up as much game as I can on over the years that I really wasn't aware of that much is how connected Oakland and New Orleans are.
Yeah.
And the history between those two, and that just supports, everything that you're saying. Because, I mean, really, like, when you think about it, man, I mean, look, if you listen to OGs in the Bay talk, dude, like, they have twang. There's a little bit of a remnant of some twang, you know what I mean? And like, a lot. and so when you go, and like MCs too, I mean, even dudes like Saphir, like I remember listening to Saphir. I mean, like, this cat sounds like, he sounds like he's not really from here, but he's Oakland to the dude. And
me, bro, Saphir for real.
Yeah. Like he was one of those dudes that came on the scene and you're like, man, this guy's got some twang to him, dude. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's very real. And Adisa, man, that's a really, really good and an important point that you make about the Bay being so embracing, because we are one of those cities in the U.S., the non-United States, that has been this kind of we've just been this hub, right? This train station of a lot of people coming and going,
Yeah.
And what you said, man, like, we've always been really good about embracing, like, we have our boroughs here, like Vallejo is a borough, Oakland is a borough, Frisco is a borough, San Jose is a borough, Back is a borough, Like, we have our own boroughs here, and we have sounds that come from those boroughs that are distinctly different from one another, and to accompany all of that, like the underground hip hop shit, like who's the most famous MC from Richmond, for instance? Like, if you had to pick one, who represents the rich, that is kind of just known the most on a like a large world scale as far as rap music goes? Like, who would you pick? Who's your choice? Because mine is Master P. Okay, so Master P.
Yeah.
So he's from New Orleans.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but like as far as like if somebody had to pick like if you had to pick somebody that was like bigger than life from Oakland, like you're either gonna pick Too Short, but you could also really like you're probably gonna pick MC Hammer if you had to pick like
Right,
the dude. You know what I mean? Like the dude
right, right.
that really like is the most famous for.
Yeah,
And just think about that. Like think about how crazy of a difference that is in itself. And then like and then you talk about Digital Underground, and then you talk about E40 and everything. Like it's so vast. I'm just backing up exactly what it is that you're saying. Like we just kind of embraced it all
I
and
just love how like everybody gets love here. Nobody gets hated on. Like,
exactly.
and you know what I love? Like sometimes, like I don't know what I was listening to, but like it has something to do with Fat Joe, and Fat Joe he was talking about how much love he gets in the Bay.
Yeah.
Dude, Fat
Yeah.
Joe is one of my favorite rappers, dog. Like
Yeah.
for so many reasons, because he used to bomb. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
because like, he really knows his hip hop. You know what I mean? Like I love rappers that love rap. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he's one of those, and he loves the love that he gets in the Bay. And I forget. I don't even know I don't know what I was watching or listening to something, but his like celebration of like the Bay was just so great, man. And I love that nobody feels like they can't shine out here.
Yeah. That's real talk. That's real talk. Like at any given well, back when we were actually still having shows, when you would see, if you would look at like a hip hop calendar of the cats that came through the Bay and got love, you know what I mean? It would be so vast. It would be so vast. Like we really, and I mean, you know, to the benefit of just the Bay as a whole. I don't know, man. Like that's kind of Bay culture in my eyes. As much as it's changed over the years, like it's always going to be that hub, man. That hub,
Yeah,
that undeniable hub, where we just take everything and kind of love everything, and we make it our own,
it's
and you know,
really true.
and I mean everything, not just the music either. You know, it's the culture as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, there's a huge contingent of b-boying and graph and everything that's still here in a big way, and DJing and everything. You know, like cats are still really serious about the craft.
No,
So,
it's pretty amazing, man. You know, in many ways that were insignificant, I actually did pretty much every element of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like myself, you know. Um, and I love that all of the elements in the Bay have always thrived so well, you know. And when I look at the DJ culture specifically, man, like I think like the Bay is one of the most DJ rich, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Places on earth ever, bro.
yeah,
Ever.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like whether it's like there's no aspect of DJing that like we don't have just like some of the best heavyweights, man. And I
yeah.
love to see it. Why? I mean, like, is it even fair to ask why? I mean, I guess back to the hub thing, right? Like,
It's a good question, man. You know, I mean, Adisa, like you and what you've done with hip hop, like I could take it on this tangent here. Like what you did, you took what existed in hip hop and you expanded upon it and made it even more interesting. I'm talking about everything that you do with you know Hip Hop Chess Federation, um, and just I mean flipped it, sure, but more it's just more kind of like expanding on the concepts and embracing. I think we're really good at embracing things that might not have been so much on the surface of the culture. Like
mm,
we just dug a little bit deeper into certain aspects of it, you know, because you like with chess, for instance, and martial arts and everything, on the surface, you know, and you do have to dive a few layers down to
Right.
understand how significant and how deep the connection is, and the history, and the certain kind of reverence and level of intelligence that goes along with something like being a chess player or being a student of martial art or something like that, right? And so like what a lot of cats did here in the Bay, I think, like when the earliest rap record that came out of Oakland, as far as I know, is '81. Okay, there was a track called Rainbow Rapper. Like I'm sure somebody can fucking argue with me on this, but there was a dude from Oakland named Rainbow Rapper, and it was very much like a, might have been '82, not '81, but it was very much like a kind of like a Sugar Hill Gang type of definitely like a Sugar Hill Records kind of approach, kind of disco rap,
Yeah.
but but since like when you think about early '80s rap and early '80s hip hop culture, so much of what we took and embraced and expanded upon was from other regions, right? We didn't necessarily come up entirely with a sound or everything on our own, but what we did that was so ingenious is that we really did, like we just took it, man. Like we took that shit and we really did something truly interesting with it, truly interesting with it. You think about like, going from bombing subways to bombing trains, and you think about like, you think about dance culture, and you think about how pop locking was even like well around, if not, close to 10 years around before anything that was considered b-boying was
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like that turned into a legitimate hip hop dance style, DJing and whatnot. DJing came kind of late, I think, here in the Bay. There were certainly cats that were doing some ill shit, but I mean, when you talk about like the guys that really kind of put on the map the concept of what it means to be this like just wilding out like DJ personality, like the shit that we did, or that was embraced with the pickles and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like like truly game changing scenarios. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have everything from fucking Too Short to Saphir. And I bring up Saphir again, but like Saphir is one of the most amazing, revered, cerebral, intelligent, groundbreaking MCs ever in the history of rap. Like you talk to anybody and they'll say like that's a
There's
real
nobody that knows him, that saw him, that heard him, that
you know what I mean?
He's a category apart, bro.
Dude, he really is. He is truly one in a million.
A category apart, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then you have short and just pimp raps and whatnot. So you know what I mean? Like we just have these. It's just such a broad spectrum, and I think that's what the Bay just was always really good at, like taking some ill shit and really just expanding on it in such a dope way,
It's really amazing, man. It's really amazing. When did you know that you wanted to be a DJ though? Like what happened? How did it happen?
I think there was probably a handful of scenarios that kind of made it what it was initially, as far as like a choice in my mind that this is something that I really wanted to do. I grew up around, so my dad was a DJ back in the day. That helps, of course. That's awesome. Like you talk to so many DJs, and
That's awesome.
He was a DJ, but he was a radio jock in Iceland back in the day.
That's like being like the son of a samurai. You know what I'm saying? Like that's sick, bro. That's great.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no like the main thing. And I mean, this will, I'll carry this with me till my dying day, man. Like the thing that I got from Pops, man, was my like absolute adoration for music.
Mm.
Like truly taking it seriously in a way that I just like like genuinely respecting how deep and how artistic of an art form music actually is.
Yeah.
I got that from Pops, man. And like I do, homie, like we've talked about it a little bit, but like Iceland is, this is we're talking about a tiny little island in the middle of the North Atlantic, dude, about as homogenous as you could possibly imagine. And Pops was an interesting dude because he was really into a lot of different shit. And so I grew up with Stevie Wonder and Donny Hathaway and Curtis Mayfield and all this kind of music that he would play on the radio in Iceland back in the day.
That's unbelievable.
And like nobody was listening to that shit in like, or nobody was like really nobody was listening to it past the what they would hear on the airwaves kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was a radio jock and he would play some of that music. He would play reggae music and everything. But nobody like in Iceland just whatever. It was just such an unheard of idea to even just like really get deep into Black American music. You know what I mean? So anyway, like I just grew up around all those records, man, and that was the first step, really. And then I kind of kicked it around some DJs in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I used to make pause tapes on this boombox that I had for years that I ended up just beating to hell with before I even had any gear or anything. Like I started making pause tapes when I was like 14, 15 maybe. And then I finally got gear like when I was 18 and that whole thing, I mean, I don't think my intention from the get was really to turn it into, a career or something that was going to live with me forever. But man, I mean, once I got my hands on equipment, like it was over with, because it's so like if you're really into putting sounds together, actually getting your hands on proper equipment at some stage and being able to
Yeah.
get better, study, and like eventually learn how to like really do it and all that. And I mean, DJ equipment is expensive. Decent DJ equipment is expensive, bro. Like it took me like 2 years just to get my hands on 2 techniques and a decent mixer, because I had to save up all my money during the time and just do it in bits and the whole nine. But I think during that whole process is when I really, really realized that I wanted to do something with this.
Right.
Like I wanted to try to come up with my own voice somehow. Mm-hmm. And I've always been such a huge DJ fan. Like I just remember ever since I was a kid, man, ever since hearing Jam Master Jay, like I've always just been such a fan of DJs. Like dope DJs to me are just such,
dog. Like for real, bro, like there's something unique about every element of hip hop that I love. Like I've always talked about how much I love graffiti because it's really illegal, it's an outlaw thing. All of hip hop is outlaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the DJ, I love the DJ, man.
Yeah.
Every aspect of like scratching, you know what I'm saying? Beat juggling, like all of it, bro.
It's really like I've never been so like I feel like I've always been about the music a little bit more than the technical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm decent. Like I can get down. I can do my thing. I can cut it up a little bit and I can rock some doubles. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna take that away from myself. But man, like the guys that really just blow me the fuck away with how much of the art form is just like an extension of themselves, and of their hands and all of that, and are just so like amazingly technically adept, but also just crazy musical and everything too. Like I'm just such a fan of that shit still to this day. Like a dope DJ or a dope DJ set or when somebody's really, fucking it up on the technical tip, man, like that's still to this day gets me so hyped. Like
Yeah, it's
I will
crazy.
always be that dude that's just like a nerd. Like I'm just a DJ nerd.
I will always be that dude.
I will
You know
always
what
be
I'm
that dude.
saying? For real, man. For
Yeah.
real. It's funny when I think about my life and I think about all the people that I have met, amazing, brilliant people in so many different ways through hip hop. You know what I mean? Like it never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah.
You know, where's like two places you ended up through hip hop that you never thought hip hop would take you to where?
Ooh, that's a good question. Everywhere, bro. Everywhere. No. I've got some specifics. I can expand on this, but hip hop has taken me a lot of places, man.
Bro, isn't that just kind of beautiful, right?
It is. It's absolutely fucking wonderful, man. Like I mean, all like hip hop took me everywhere, all over the U.S. in some very, very, very interesting places in the United States, man. I used to go to Corpus Christi, Texas, all the time.
Really?
Like I know you've been to Texas, but you ever been to Corpus? It's like,
Never been to Texas ever.
oh, you've never been to Texas? Okay, no worries. It's all good. Corpus is a trip, bro. Like Corpus is in southern Texas. It's on the Gulf of Mexico, and I used to go there like all the time on a regular basis. I remember the first time I went down there to do a gig. I took the bus down from Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the Greyhound, and it was the grimiest experience of my life, bro. Like, I shit you not, dude. That was like probably one of the more like scared for my life experiences. No, I'll tell you why real quick. It's really funny at this stage, man. Like there were all these hoes that were beefing on the bus, and like some fights broke out, and there was like a bunch of dudes that were passed out. Like there was a couple guys I remember that had knives on them, because they had like, I don't remember the exact story. There was a dude that got into a riff with this chick on the bus, and I swear I thought he was about to stab her, but the bus driver like got in the way. There were some seats in the back of the bus that were like burned out, and the whole bus kind of smelled like burnt hair. And I just remember like and like Corpus, dude, when you take the bus into Corpus, it drops you off in downtown, and there's nothing but just like really downtrodden homeless people hanging out downtown. It's probably, I mean, it has changed. I know it's changed a lot over the years, but
Let's hope.
but Corpus is a trip, bro. Like it's one of the most southern states. It's like it's where Selena, the cumbia singer, is from.
Yeah.
There's a statue of her there, and it's kind of famous for a handful of things. But that Corpus, like I went there quite a bit for like a good maybe like 4-year stretch. I would go at least a couple times a year to do gigs, and I made good friends down there, and would just go and kick it. And dude, there is nothing hip hop about Corpus at all. I mean, of course it has its thing, because almost every single city on the planet has something going on. But man, dude, there's just there's no part of it that when you get dropped off there, like it feels like, like when you go to New York, man, like you feel like you just like stepped into hip hop's living room. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the Corpus is not that. Going to Corpus is like stepping into your grandma's living room. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's just gonna be like a gross candy dish, like just and just furniture covered in plastic kind of shit. Like it's just, I don't know, man. It's like a very old, grimy kind of like coastal surfer town, and not even surfer. I mean, you can't really surf there, but whatever. Corpus is definitely like, if I had to pick the city that bugged me. That's like really was like, yo, like I used to go to Corpus Christi, Texas on a regular basis for many years to do hip hop gigs. And like they had some bars and some clubs and some restaurants and good homies, dude. I much love to my homies in Corpus, but like they know. Even the cats in Corpus, they talk their shit, dude. They just it's just a trip. Yeah. The other spot though, man, I don't know, man. Like I've been to Australia a handful of times. I mean, I've been to Asia, dude. I've been to New Zealand. I've been all over Europe. I like just DJing, building with hip hop cats, you know.
That's crazy.
And it's fucking and hip hop took me there, like, you know. That's what took me to. That's what gave me the purpose to go explore a little bit more, you know. And I dig everywhere I go,
Yeah.
and that's like a big, you know, big part of the experience is you know, it's like we were talking about earlier, you know, as far as the music of the region really just gives you amazing insight into the place itself, you know. So I was, you know, I've always like there's no better way than to you know, expose yourself to the music and dig for old school shit, you know, if you really want to learn about an area. So yeah, Corpus Christi, Texas, and the rest of the world. To answer your question.
No, that's dope, man. That's really dope. You know, what do you think?
What about you? What about you? Where's like, what's tell me one of the more interesting places, or even just experiences. Period. You know that hip hop is taking you, bro. Like you've been doing your thing for a second, man. You have very deep history, dude. I want to hear something.
All right, I'm gonna tell you this. This is a funny story. I think I've told this story before, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So like, so I used to write for this Black Panther newspaper called The Commemorator.
Okay. Okay.
So Money B from Digital Underground, his dad is Bobby McCall.
Yeah.
Bobby McCall used to be my manager when I rapped.
Okay.
I had a militant rap group. And so
Tell him the name. Come on, bro. You can't just skip that. You gotta tell him the name. I still want like we still gotta figure out how to just give that the proper release.
So we made an album. Well, the group is called Freedom Troop 187, and
Right.
Troop stood for Through Revolution of Our People.
Yeah, man.
And we were about that life.
Yes,
And
you
so-
were.
And so,
And the music that you made is dope as fuck. It's dope as
for
fuck.
its time, like if it would have came out,
Still
we
needs
would have won. We would have won. We would have done okay. We would have done okay. But yeah, life, you know what I'm saying, you know.
still needs to come out. I think we're still.
We're
I
gonna
think.
figure it out.
I think we're still need. I think we still need to make it happen, man.
So the Genius, a rapper on Cold Chillin',
Mm-hmm.
known later in career as the Jizza, had come to town, and we became cool. So me and DJ Steph,
Rest in peace,
yes. This is a hilarious story.
dude. I can't wait to hear the.
Okay.
All right, keep going. I'm listening.
So
I love me some Adisa
Yeah.
stories, man. I love Adisa stories, dude.
this is pre Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang Clan does not exist.
Yeah.
He's the Genius.
Mm-hmm.
The single is "Come Do Me."
Mm-hmm.
Great song, by the way.
Yeah, classic.
So we become cool. Then he had a show at One Up.
Oh wow,
One Up. It's an old school hip hop club. One Up. Real G's.
real G's.
West Coast.
Yep.
So he comes to town, and he's got a manager. His manager is Mel Quan. Mel Quan, peace to Mel Quan. So they come to town. He's staying at the Hotel Nico, and me and Steph and this other DJ go over there, and we're hanging out, and Jizza had said, "Oh, can you give me and Melquan a ride to the airport?"
Okay.
I was like, "What? I'll take you to the airport." So we chilling. It's storming, not regular like it's raining, bro. Like I can't see. Like I can't see.
Oh shit!
Like real storm.
Wow.
Like I don't think he's gonna leave town tonight, kind of storm. You feel me?
Okay. So
he's like, yo, can you give us a ride? I was like, yeah. So Steph's partner was afraid to drive in the rain.
Okay.
Like, yo, will you drive? Because I'm afraid. And I was like, yeah, I'll drive. Right? And so, like, for whatever reason, we're really late getting out of the hotel, Nico. So, like, they come out. I'm in the car. And I said, okay, Jizza and Steph, get in the back. Melquan, he started to step in the car, right? And just was like, go. So I was confused.
Oh, shit.
Punched it. But Melquan wasn't in the car. But that car hit him so hard.
Oh, shit.
It launched him into the door.
No.
Bro, Melquan was he wanted to beat the fuck out.
Except he just got hit by a car.
But he needed me to get him to the airport. It's the only reason he didn't fuck me up.
Dude, wait.
He was like, boo, bah, bah. And he looked at me, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, bro. I thought you were in.
Wait, why did Jizza tell you to punch it? Why did he tell you to punch it?
I don't know. Because I think he thought he was in too. Because we were late. You know what I'm saying? So he's in.
Yo, I thought this story was gonna be like they just fucking robbed the place.
No.
And you were the fucking getaway car.
I always feel bad about that, man.
Oh no, that's good. That's a good one, dude. I like that. I like that a lot.
So I never thought I'd be almost beaten up in a rainstorm.
In a rainstorm. By the genius pre-Jizza. Yeah. Have you guys built a little bit more over the years? He's like a big chess guy, isn't he? Isn't he?
Yeah. No. He's the homie. In fact, today you would not know is International Chess Day, and so he was online playing people today and stuff, just to be kicking it. But I'm actually. I interviewed him. He was one of the first interviews I did for Bishop Chronicles when I first did the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So he's hell of a G, man. And so I'm trying to get him back on, you know what I'm saying? But Jizza's the homie, man.
Yeah, good dude right there. I've never actually met him, but I've heard good things.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
So cool.
So it's International Chess Day today. You are correct. I did not know that because I am not an avid chess player, but
no one will hold it against you. You know what I'm saying?
What goes on International Chess Day? Is there like
mainly chess? It's kind of a chess day.
Yeah, it's kind of chess day.
Pretty much like on an international level.
On an international level, and for one day, for like a 24-hour period. Yeah,
exactly. Just
okay. Thanks for clarifying that for me. I appreciate that. Yeah. Now, is there like special events or anything that like go down? Or
I mean,
you know, are cats playing chess online now since
COVID, like big time, yeah.
Yeah, big
That's
time.
One of the biggest things growing online. You know what I'm saying?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah. All DJs are doing these days is just like, come look at my stream. Come look at my stream, please. Please come look at my stream. I know the world is burning right now, but please come look at my stream.
But you know what though? Fools need that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. It's a weird time.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? And then you know what? I really don't like how, these fools will be like, won't let you DJ on Instagram. The hell, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, man, that's so weak, man. I'm so tired of all these companies, man. Like, I wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for the DJs, but like, you literally could not exist.
It's very true.
Irritating.
That's really like the number one. It really is the number one argument that a lot of us make for why the restrictions that are being applied right now are so absurd. Because it's free promotion for your music, you know.
I mean, like,
it's a matter of greed, bro. Like, it's just a matter of greed, you know. That's all it really comes down to, you know. The whole copyright and label ownership stuff, it all just comes down to greed, and it's awful, and it's really fucked up because, you know, one of the big things, and do you know about the whole thing that me and Alex and Davey kind of put together, this kind of coalition of the willing, so to speak? Like, the whole campaign is just called "Let the DJs Play," and we've been,
bro, lace me.
Yeah, we've been doing some things, yeah, online, and you know, you can, regardless of whether or not any sort of impact gets made on behalf of, because we're not the only ones. There's a lot of people out there, man, that are really trying to fight that fight right now, you know.
Come on, man. You have to, man. It's not right.
Yeah, no, it's not right at all. But we put together a petition that ended up getting well over 10,000 signatures online, of people that are just down for the cause. You know, essentially, yeah. The statement really is pretty straightforward. It's just a call out to outlets like Facebook and Instagram mainly. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even on Facebook anymore, man. I quit that shit. But you know, to basically lift the restrictions, man. Just let, you know, and if for any reason whatsoever, make that shit temporary while we figure out something else, because people are stuck at home right now, you know. And if you really want to showcase some shit, you want to showcase some heart, showcase some support, then make the music thing right now, you know, because it's medicine for people, man. You know, absolutely. I mean, that's a fact in general, but especially now when people need anything and everything that they can get their hands on, that's going to kind of lift their spirits a little bit, you know.
Hip hop is getting me through, homie.
Exactly.
Lo-fi is getting me through. Reggae is getting me through. Heavy metal is getting me through. You know what I'm saying? Chill hop is getting me through. Jazz, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need all of it. You know what I'm
listening to so much jazz lately, bro. Like, I've been
listening getting me through. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to everything, dog.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I think about this a lot, bro. Like, one of the things that I think is going to be a very prevalent and kind of scary attribute to everything that we're going through right now, and you know, there's no end in sight right now, as far as we know, you know, is the, you know, it's the mental well-being, it's the emotional and mental well-being of people, and how we're all going to come out of this, you know.
So hard right now, bro. Like,
it's just so fucking weird, man, because like this is so new to a lot of us, and it's the first time because everything is so modern right now, right? Like, we have access to anything and everything on our laptops, desktops, computers, fucking TVs, the whole nine. Like, everything is accessible to us. And so we have to kind of treat that accessibility as a form of like mental well-being, you know what I mean? Because people are going online to get their hands on anything and everything, from therapy to music to figuring out how to cook a meal because you're done eating fucking cereal because all you can do is eat at home, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, so it's all there. And so for labels to be taking this kind of stance, you know, where they're shutting DJs down and like putting all this kind of restrictions and even kind of like upping the ante on the restrictions. We've been seeing that a lot too. ever since this went down 5 months ago, now almost 5 months ago, is like the restrictions have gotten even stricter, like, and that's crazy, that's crazy to think that like
So
that's the
disrespectful.
response.
It's so disrespectful.
Yeah, it's fucked up, bro. It's really fucked up. So,
It's crazy.
but yeah, we did, we put together this thing. It was Alex and Davey, Alex Mejia and Davey D. They kind
I
of,
love Alex Mejia, man. I love Dave, man.
yeah, yeah, of course, man. All family right there. So, and they brought me in and just to be kind of like a third voice in the representation aspect of it all. And we've been doing some things. There's been some stuff at work that's been really good. And if anything, like I don't know, I guess what I was really trying to express was, regardless of the fact that it makes an impact or not, it's important for us to be kind of like a joined voice, like a
Yeah.
voice of unity and unison in response to everything that's going on. The those of us that are involved in hip hop and DJing and that are politically active, like Davies, man, that dude is on the front lines for real right now. With his activism and everything that he's involved in. Like it's, I mean, he's always like that, but it's just so much more heightened with everything that's going on. And his voice is so needed, so necessary. He's one of the few guys that's out there that has the kind of impact that he has, that it's like a real voice of reason, like a genuine kind of like, you're so much better for it.
Mhm.
You're just so much better for it if you're paying attention to men like him right now, because he's really like, he's putting it out there, but anyway, so it's a trip, my man. I don't know, it's a day-to-day situation these days, but it's fucking weird.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you were to meet someone you didn't know, they weren't hostile to you, but they were absolutely convinced that hip hop is not art, and you could play one song for them, what would you play? You could play one song.
Do I get to explain it afterwards, or does it just?
But of course, I wouldn't. I would never deny you that.
No. I don't mean to you or to us.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to them, to that person. Do I get to explain to them afterwards, after I play the song? Do I get to explain to them why there is a certain level of art to it, or do I just, like, does the impact just have to, like, does the music alone need to have that impact?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You see where I'm going with that? Like, there's
I know what you know what I'm saying. I'm with you.
Yeah. If I had to pick one song that I feel exemplifies rap music or hip hop culture, or the two combined.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna grab some water.
Yeah. You're gonna have to give me a few more seconds on that one.
I love this conversation, by the way.
No, it's a good one, bro. This is a very good one. Okay, I'm gonna preface this
Yep.
briefly, and then I'm gonna explain myself briefly afterwards why I chose this.
Okay.
Okay. So I would pick De La Soul's Saturdays. Okay. The reason why I would pick that for somebody that, was a naysayer, was, for one, there's a topic of conversation that me and a lot of cats that are big Native Tongues fans over the years, when we talk about certain producers that had this impeccable ear for collages and layering samples together that just worked.
Yeah.
And this is pre-technology, because there's technology nowadays that pairs
Right.
key and melody together, you know what I mean? Back during that time, you had to have that ear. Like, That's what made that shit happen. And there were dudes.
100%, bro.
They were I mean, then there's a lot of cats. There were cats that were really, really like exceptional at this. Tony D, who who passed away a long time ago, but he was one of the early dudes. Yeah, Tony D was one of the early dudes that just did amazing shit, taking two different or more source materials from totally different songs, genres, the whole nine, and put them all together.
Joints work, though.
And just making it work because that fucking ear was impeccable, right?
Hey, can I tell you a funny Tony D story?
Yeah, please, absolutely.
Again,
you hit him with your car too? You didn't hit him with your car too, did you?
Again, dude, listen, bro, this is hilarious. So me and Steph
again.
Tony D's in town. I met Tony D because I was doing stuff for the Bomb magazine.
Yep.
Or something at the Gavin. I don't remember. We became cool.
Okay.
So do you remember the Stereo MCs? They were from London.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
The Stereo MCs were playing at the DNA Lounge.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, okay.
And I had been wanting to interview the Stereo MCs. And somehow I tracked them down, bro. I used to be sick with that. Like I could find, like if I was a fan of a rapper, I could find that fool and get a story.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah, come through, mate, whatever. So I go backstage and remember the backup singers for the Stereo MCs?
I remember. I know that they lived in this interesting kind of world where they were kind of hip hop because they.
Yeah, they were there. Yeah, they were an acquired taste. Everyone wasn't a fan.
Exactly, because the dude was he didn't sound like a soul singer necessarily, but I really only remember the couple of songs that they had, and Connected.
They had like two. I think the only.
Yeah, exactly. So Connected was the one, but that was a big hit. I know I've played that a couple times.
Yeah. So we go back there. They're back there. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So then, like, I fucking see Tony D. It's me, Steph, Tony D. You know what I'm saying? We chilling, whatever. And then, like, they go out, they do their set, and then they're killing it. So I'm posted, and the dude from Stereo MCs is like, yo, you wanna come on stage with us and rock for the encore?
Okay.
I look at Tony D and he was like, let's do it. I was like, okay. So I can't believe this shit is happening, right? At all.
Packed house? Was it a packed house?
Packed house DNA.
Yeah.
Right? So he gave us mics. He was like, all right, we're gonna do the encore. And we come out and it was the craziest thing. Tony D just looked at me and he's like, he goes, when he passed the mic to me, we're gonna do it from the top. And that's what he said. I'm like, okay. And when he goes, we got Tony D. We were like, and he goes, yo, Harvey. And I just went, who? And he's like, Harvey Wallbanger. Like, oh, nice. It's like crazy, bro. Like,
that's fucking great. That's
like great. He didn't even have to tell me.
Yes, that's perfect. That's fucking perfect. Anybody that's listening, look up Tony D. Harvey. Look up Tony D. Harvey Wallbanger, but look up Tony D's history though, because that dude, like, man, that guy's a fucking legend, dude. Like,
he was so funny, bro.
Yeah. What was he doing in the Bay? Was he just hanging?
I don't even remember, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
I swear. I don't remember.
Yeah. So, I mean, the idea of, and like, he was one of those guys that a lot of people were, like, Paul C was amazing at that shit too.
I think Paul C and Tony D, bro.
Yeah. Like, they really were like, not only were they diving super, super deep and much deeper than a lot of their counterparts, production wise, but they just had like they were able to put together this wall of sound kind of shit that was just so fucking amazing and mesmerizing for cats that were into production and samples in the whole nine. But then, all right, so the reason why De La Saturdays though is what Prince Paul and Q-Tip were doing during a specific era during that time took that shit to the craziest level. It took that to,
good Lord.
Like, look, think of like, okay, so like a 3-layer dip is dope, right? Like hella good. It's super yummy. What if you could make like a 12-layer dip that was like 4 times as good as the 3-layer dip? Like, it sounds crazy, right? But they were making songs, and Saturdays is one of those songs. There's like 14 samples in Saturdays.
That's crazy.
And they, like, if you listen to the instrumental alone, it's incredible. But the way, what they put on top of it, because there's not, and it's not, it's not just rapping.
Right.
There's singing going on. There's multiple MCs, the whole nine. But dude, like, and Q-Tip on the other end, something like a war tour or whatever. There's like 12 samples in a war tour. Like, it's crazy. And I mean, they're not all going on at the same time. They're building these collages and everything. But at any given point, there might be 4 different, if not 5 different things going on.
Yeah.
And if you can't embrace the level of artistry that has to go with something like that from somebody that isn't even trained musically per se.
I mean, that's the
like
stuff.
like it's like that's next level shit going on with your ears.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like Q-Tip went to an art high school, and I'm sure he took some music classes and whatnot, but he didn't play any instruments.
Right.
Paul, as far as I know, was not, like, he was just a record guy. Like, he was a record dude. So if that was it, like Saturdays would, like, I would just pick Saturdays because it's also a relatively easily digestible track. Like, it's not, it's fun and kind of dancey and kind of, you really, like, you have to not have a pulse if you can't react to that shit somehow. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's not a hard, like, something. It's like it's in that realm of like D-Light's Groove is in the Heart or something like that, where it's just like it's like good, feel good, up tempo shit, but it's all samples. It's incredible. Groove is in the Heart that's a hip hop track. It's just got D-Light singing on it. Like, that's just a beat collage of, up tempo b-boy shit. But yeah, like, if I had to pick one, it would be something like, it would be Saturdays. Like, I think that would be a good starting point. And then if I had to break it down, I would play for them all of the fucking samples that were used, then that would shut you the fuck up real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you literally played, like, if you had to, if I broke it down like that.
Yeah. You could shut somebody all the way down with that part.
Yeah, exactly. That would be quick. That would be easy right there. Now listen to the 14 songs in a row that made that song. That made that song. And he like from these vinyl records,
Yep.
Like, yeah, nobody pulled those off of YouTube. You know what I mean? That was
man.
Just listening to wax. So
I think if it were me, I'm gonna choose a very strange song that it's kind of it's gonna be unimpressive until you hear it. Like, if you don't know the song, my answer is gonna be unimpressive. I'm gonna choose rapper by the name of Sticky Fingers, The State vs. Kirk Jones. That album is one of the most unbelievable rap albums, underrated rap albums in the history of the entire art.
Dude, I gotta look this up.
Okay.
I mean, I know who Sticky Fingers is.
Now, this is an album is a visual movie. It starts like you're at the movies for real, and then it goes in, and it's about a guy on his first day out of jail, and what happens to him throughout the course of the day.
Oh wow!
A bunch of stuff happens. He gets caught up in some stuff. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Gesundheit.
That was hella crazy. So he's out doing his thing. He gets caught up. All this stuff happens, and he ends up in court. And so, the State versus Kirk Jones is his trial in a 5-minute rap.
Wow.
And like everybody exists. The DA is rapping. The judge is rapping. Every Redman, I think was the DA.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Dude, it is the craziest judge battle. Who is Judge Battle? Dude, it's the craziest rap ever.
Why don't I know about this? Did this thing get slept on?
Yeah, immensely. Hold on a second.
I mean, obviously, Sticky Fingers, Onyx and all that, but like,
dude, that album is a masterpiece. In fact, one of the craziest songs on that album is a track he did with Eminem called "What If I Were White."
wow, no shit.
He's thinking about what happened to him in court and how different would his life have been if he were born white. Eminem is like in his brain, like he's kind of talking to himself, bro. Masterpiece, bro.
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy that I had no fucking idea at all. That even happened.
Bro, you listen to that song, you will be like, oh my God. I mean, because like they're arguing on time to a beat with a story about evidence, fingerprints, weak witnesses. Like, bro, it's unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable.
Crazy. That is not what I thought you were gonna say. That is definitely like I like that I picked Saturdays by De La, and what you just dropped is way, way deeper. I need to listen to this. So this was like a really, really elaborate concept joint. I'm just reading about it a little bit here.
Dude, it was out of control. Out of control. From front to back, dog.
All the guest verses were written by him.
Dude. It's a masterpiece, dog. Like, I'm trying to tell you, bro, when you hear that record and you play it from the front to the back, like, don't skip around, dog. It's his journey, dog.
Yeah, this is like
hour by hour.
Dude, look at this. Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit was originally supposed to appear on the song What If I Was White, but refused after reading the lyrics.
Dude, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. He has like conversations, bro. Like,
this is interesting, man.
On one of the songs, a bunch goes wrong, and he has a conversation with God.
Oh wow!
And the conversations that he has with God is out of control.
No shit.
God's like, ask me anything you want, and he's asking him hardcore stuff.
You know what's
cranium, and God's answering him in a rhyme, dog.
Wow. You know what's really interesting, Adisa, is I mean, I don't really know much about Dude outside of like a single or something that might have came out after Onyx and whatnot, but this is definitely one of those examples of somebody really coming from left field and being like, yo, there's so much more going on with this dude. I can't wait to listen to this. I'm just looking at all the information just on the Wikipedia page.
It's an unbelievable album, man.
Okay, you win that round, Adisa. You win that round.
That was not a
You know what that reminds me of, bro? You know what that reminds me of? There is a song, and I'm not gonna remember the name of it off top. Maybe if I think really hard about it, but I'm not gonna remember it right now. From the Coos' second album. From the Coos' second album, where it's that same kind of concept, where Boots basically raps from the perspective of like 5 different people throughout the song. And he does the accents and everything too. And
how am I not knowing this right now?
Yeah, and the premise of the I'm gonna have to look this up at another time and really. It's off of Genocide and Juice, okay? So
right.
But I can't remember exactly which one it is. But it's fucking brilliant, man. It's absolutely brilliant. I just can't remember.
Big Fish?
No, it's another one. Like that one is dope, but it's another one. I want to say it's not Santa Rita Weekend. Oh my God, I was listening to that the other day.
Ooh, what about Me and Jesus the Pimp in a 79 Granada last night?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Listen, people, if you have never heard Me and Jesus the Pimp in the 79 Granada last night.
That is the name of the whole song.
Yes. Like you are missing out on one of the most amazing story raps in the history of hip hop.
Yeah.
Ever. That's top 3, homie. That's top 3. Might be 1.
Wow.
Depending on the mood that you catch me in. That's an incredible story.
The Boots was another one of those dudes that when you listen to him rap, pictures just started fucking popping up in your mind.
Unbelievable.
Like immediately, like incredible storyteller. I can't remember. Is it Pimps? I can't remember. Let me dissect a little bit, and I'm gonna send it to you. But that's the one. It's not Fat Cat's Bigger Fish. It's another one that's on the album. But anyway, all right.
Well, see, it's just funny, man, because like you know so much about hip hop, like it's scary to be around you, bro.
Oh, please, come on. You just tipped me to like the craziest shit.
I'm serious.
The autobiography of
serious, bro.
I'm not even.
You're terrifying. Like you know so much about hip hop, you are absolutely terrifying.
You know what? I know more about fucking like. I know more about like the nerdy fucking production side of things than I do like. I know a lot. You know what, Adisa? I know a lot about the stuff that I'm really, really passionate about, dude. Because I've been one of those cats that, like, I know that whatever I leave, as far as any sort of legacy at all, whatever that's going to look like, whatever that's going to mean at all down the line.
It'll be a lot.
I mean, I appreciate that, bro, and that means a lot,
bro.
No, I mean, that means a lot coming from you, man, because you know I got nothing but absolute fucking love and respect for you, bro. But like, I'm just saying, like, what's the point of diving into this, man, if you're not going to show it the respect that it deserves? You know what I'm saying? And like really, really put your all into it. Like that's why I take this still to this day so seriously, man. Like I've been really adamant for my whole career about conveying that.
Yeah.
The importance of showing this whole thing, you know, like I said, the respect that it deserves. Like it really, like I feel that way so deeply about rap music and hip hop culture, and I have for the longest time, and that's the Zulu in me, and my history and all of that, like my upbringing and everything, it all, that's all the reasons why. But you know, man, I mean, this couldn't tie better into to the question beforehand, dude. Is like in my eyes, it really is a deep level of art. Like amazing, thoughtful, timeless, intelligent approach to making what we call hip hop music and hip hop culture and everything is, in my eyes, one of the highest forms of creation. Like it really, when you really think about it and when you really subscribe to that notion, it's like the perfect example of where we are today and how we got here, just this, like what it actually means to truly embrace your surroundings and turning that into art.
Yeah, man, it's very powerful. It's very real, bro.
Yeah, it's bug, man, like rap music literally came from the fucking pavement that we walk on, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like it is everything in relation to our surroundings. Like it's the ultimate expression of our environment.
I always say, like, like how crazy is it when you look at like how much hip hop is in education now, right?
Yeah.
Think about how, I'm old enough to remember when people were on TV saying like hip hop was not music.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fad. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember like being very like, it's a rebellious subculture thing. It'll go away.
Right.
It was very dismissive and disrespectful,
Yep.
So then to go to see the industry that exists now, even to the degree that it sucks, but all of the art, like it's an amazing thing, bro.
It really is, man. It really, really is,
And that amazingness that's now in Harvard and at Stanford and Berkeley and everywhere, like it's amazing that like the art that saved education, that saved music, that saved all this other stuff was created by the kids the world intended to forget.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That the very education system and judicial system and political system and social system that was built to destroy them, they created everything to undo it, just through the love of music, man. That's unbelievable.
The love of music and the love of or like the innate desire and just like that forceful thing inside of us as like lucid living things on this planet to just create.
Yeah.
And Adisa, it's not even just that. It's not even just create, but create some dope shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like funky and with style and fucking attitude, and smarts. Like all I've been doing lately, dude, like Black Thought has just given me everything right now, dude. Like, did you see this new fucking thing that he just dropped? Oh my God, you gotta watch this, dude.
He said, oh my God.
Oh my God, it is fucking unreal. It's like a short movie. It's like 8 minutes. I gotta see if I can pull this up here really quick. Bro. It's called Thought versus Everybody. It just came out a couple days ago.
Okay. I'm going to go jump on it, dog.
Dude, it's called Thought versus Everybody, and here's a line in it that fucking floored me when he said it, dude. Like, he's one of those rappers, man, that just when I listen to him speak, I'm just at the edge of my seat. Like what's he about to say? That's going to fuck my head up.
He's ridiculous, man.
He says half Master Killa and half Hugh Masekela. I thought that was the illest fucking shit ever. Like, I don't know why that got me so hyped when he said that. I'm half Master Killa and half Hugh Masekela.
That's hard.
I thought that was the fucking illest shit. Like dude is just like, you know, somehow Hugh Masekela into his peripheral, and he's like Masekela, Master Killa.
That's awesome.
That's so fucking hard to me, dude. I love that shit. Anyway, yeah, it's good, bro. It's good to talk to you, man. It's good to chop it up. And
I know, right? Like, bro, this is so dope, bro.
yeah. We'll do it in person when all of this turns into whatever it is.
When humanity returns in some form.
In some form or another.
Oh my God, bro.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Man, you know, it's one of these things where, like, you know, the reason I do Bishop Chronicles, man, is because it's important for me to help people understand the history of West Coast hip hop. You know,
yeah.
Like, I don't care if it happened out here, then you know what I'm saying? This is what it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta let them know. What do you think people need to know more about when they think about the Bay Area hip hop scene, specifically maybe as it relates to DJs, but just in general?
I think what people need to realize, and maybe even our own scene here in the Bay Area needs to be careful to not forget and be adamant about making sure they continue to subscribe to this type of ethos when it comes to hip hop culture and rap music and you know, street art, as it pertains to all of it, is that the Bay has always had a certain amount of I think just in general, like a reverence for passion. As far as I can remember, one of the main reasons why, you know, I've lived in a lot of different places in my life, man. I've traveled all over, man, and there's still, as much as the Bay has changed, I'm trying to say this as eloquently as I possibly can.
You're doing good.
As much as the Bay has changed, there is still an energy to the Bay, and I want to say it's probably living in Oakland, you know, right now more so than other areas, but that's not taking anything away from other areas. Where people really like truly give a shit about the art behind the culture, you know, like we never really forgot about that, and we never made, you know, like a conscious decision to just ignore these important aspects of just like respecting the art. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never really got that sense with Oakland and artist music, like hip hop and soul music artists here in the Bay Area, that now it's time to like, fuck it, you know, like I'm dropping everything and I'm just gonna be about that money right now. Even cats that are hardcore street dudes, man, like are really about that kind of shit. Get your paper and call it a day kind of shit. There's always been something. There's always been like a little something extra that was just here in the soil, you know, that made you care a little bit more about like, don't ever, you know what I mean? Like, don't ever let go of that shit. And I think, I don't know why that is. I mean, I can assume the conversation has come up a lot over the years too, man, amongst everybody that I know in the industry about like, why have we never have really had like a truly legitimate hip hop industry here, like a genuine industry that
Oh, it
was
seems I'll never understand it, bro.
you know what I'm saying? Like as smart as we are and as how much we are about our hustle and all that kind of shit, like we've never really been able to put together something that can really be deemed like a certified industry that can maintain itself and expand and grow in the whole nine. You know what I mean? Like we've always there's so many cats, man, and so many like little sub factors to the industry and to the scene that have contributed to like why that has never happened. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's not easy to live around here. So cats,
I
like,
think
you know
that's
what I mean? Like they get caught up very much so in just trying to get their hands on whatever they can to pay their bills, kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
for sure.
um, but that's one of the things, man, if not the thing that I think is really fascinating about the Bay is that we've never it's never strayed away from that. That's why there's so many of us, man, and like DJs and everything that fuck with so many different things
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
far as like music, you know what I mean? Like you go and see like a really skilled DJ that is well respected and good crowd and the whole nine, and you are literally gonna hear that dude play something from everything, dude, for like and do it so well, like that really just kind of sums it up, That's why we fuck with 40 and Hyro in the same breath. Like those guys have never even fucking recorded music together, really. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Come on, man.
how come Dell and E40 haven't been on a track together? Like, you know what I'm saying? But they like we fuck with each other. Hyro Day is like a great example of that, for instance, of
Hyro Day is so awesome, man.
Hyro Day is incredible. Unfortunately, not going to happen this year, of course, but
Yeah. When the world gets anywhere back to normal and Hyro Day happens, you should try to be in the building.
yeah. It's really like because it's street shit and like grimy underground shit and everything in between, and that's
So
it.
fun.
That's the Bay, as far as I'm concerned, man. That's like,
It's so real, bro. It's
yeah,
so real, man. Well, man, thank you so much for being on Bishop Chronicles. This is
hey,
so fantastic, man.
brother.
Before we dip out, tell them where they can catch you at, player, because you know what I'm saying, the world needs to know how to holler at a real G. You know what
At
I'm
a real G. It's hard to feel like a real gangster when you're stuck in your living room for 5 months
saying?
straight.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, dude, much love, my friend. You know it, dude. I got so much fucking love for you, bro. Like, I really do. You're one of my favorites. I love talking to you. It's always great to catch up. I wish you nothing but the fucking utmost praise and the best in life. You know what I mean? Really,
Thank
really,
you,
I
brother.
do.
Thank
So
you. Likewise.
yeah. So thank you for having me on. I can't wait to see what you guys keep and what you cut out. But yeah, man. I mean, dude. All you got to do is just it's. I mean, I have a website. It's djplaturn.com. It's Platurn Saturn, but with a PL. So DJ Platurn, like plate turner. And if you look up Platurn, I'm all over the place, man. It's
All over.
the only place that I don't fuck with anymore is Facebook, man. I said I gave
Yeah.
Facebook the middle one. Yeah, like a few weeks back, man. I said peace to it because Facebook is the devil.
I need to join you. I really do. I do, man. It's ridiculous. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I couldn't fuck with it. And I mean, especially nowadays, dude, like I catch myself browsing Twitter way more than I should, man, because it's such a depressing place to hang out half the time, dude, because there's so many fucking idiots. Just like it's like the fucking collapse of Western civilization happening in real time, dude. Like it's just
This can be a little frustrating.
yeah. But anyway, but yeah, you can find me, man. DJPlatter.com, Platurn on Instagram, Platurn on Bandcamp, DJ Platter. I'm constantly releasing music on Bandcamp all the time and
Yeah.
Mixcloud and all that kind of stuff, man. So I'm out there. You can find me.
Man, I really appreciate you. I guarantee you, as the world continues to get crazier, I'm gonna need you to come back so we can talk about
Oh,
the
dude,
the madness in the world.
absolutely.
But you're absolutely someone who has made my journey in hip hop better, has made it brighter, has like just the passion you do, everything you do with, and the genuine quality of it, the spirit and the quality of it are equal, man, and that makes you a rare gem in the Bay, man. Like I hope you know that.
Yeah, and I learned it from watching you. I learned it from watching you. We could sit here and gas each other up all day, man. I'll try to
Oh,
one
man,
you.
'cause you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I told you earlier, man. Like you have to understand. Like you guys gotta understand, dude. Like, man, I used to have my fucking head in those magazines, dude. Like constantly reading every last word. You, Eric, and Davey were my three guys that
man,
I just like everything that I saw, literally everything that I saw that I could get my hands on, man. I would like, I
that's
was just a
crazy,
student.
man.
I was a student.
Shout out to Lachlan, shout out to Dave Paul. You know, that independent magazine scene was
Oh man, unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. I still have so much of that shit too. I've been going through boxes because we just have time right now,
yeah, he
trying
was
to,
like, what? Yeah, bro.
so much stuff, dude. Anyway, I appreciate you, brother. Much love to you, my man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we'll get up and thank you for being on Bishop Chronicles. Man, it's all gravy.
Peace to you, brother. I'll talk to you soon.